You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
For over 100 years, the world has been captivated by Hollywood.
The stuff that dreams are made of.
Where stars are born.
Rated by top of the world!
But just beneath the stardust lie a million more fascinating stories that, when sewn together, form an incredible history. The Secret History of Hollywood. Available now, wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, and welcome to Fan Theory Queries, where we analyze fan theories from all over the internet, but mostly Reddit. I'm Laura.
I'm Michael.
I'm Spencer, and I have a reminder or announcement. If you didn't listen to our previous episode, we will be in the company of the superheroes Green Arrow and Morbius's doctor, or whoever Matt Smith plays in that Morbius movie, and Laura's character that she...
That's the worst character of his that you could have chosen out of all of his amazing characters.
Well, my knowledge
That's the worst? Well, I mean, we haven't watched House of the Dragon, so...
My knowledge is limited.
Honestly, it's Morbius. I just watched Morbius the other night for the first time, and his Morbius character is hands down worse than his character in House of Dragon.
I always love that phrase, hands down, because it's like, his Morbius character is, put your hands on the table, the worst. Whatever. Anyway, all that to say, we will be in the company of stars such as Stephen Amell, Matt Smith, and Laura Williams this week. We're hosting a live Fan Theory Query show at Dallas Fan Festival in Irving, Texas this Friday, October 14th at 7 p.m. If you are a fan of things like festivals and Irving and this podcast, and you live in the area or can afford to travel the required distance, do it. We'd love to meet you. You can get tickets to the Expo Festival at fanexpohq.com/Dallas Fan Festival. I'll also include a link in the description so you don't have to type that in.
See you there.
Awesome.
Or you're a square.
On that note, I am going to be bringing a theory this time.
Speaking of squares.
Yes. From user Zithuthrus. This is a weird name. Zithuthrus?
Sure.
Anyway, their theory is that the Matrix isn't a farm, it's actually a wildlife preserve. Much has already been written on why using human bodies as an energy source makes no sense, so I won't go much into that. But the most popular alternative theory for what the machines need humans for, if they're using human brains as parallel processors, like in the original script, has flaws of its own. The biggest one being that if the machines wanted super efficient biological computers, they wouldn't be using humans, they'd be using parrots.
Obviously.
Parrots?
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. No, really. A human brain contains about 30 times as many neurons as a blue and yellow macaw's brain, but is 70 times as massive. The average human body is similarly about 60 times as massive as the average blue and yellow macaw's. In theory, if you were a machine, you could take a single human-sized pod and replace it with 60 to 70 parrot-sized pods and get a much bigger return for the same investment of space and resources.
What about a mouse? Isn't a mouse's brain supposed to be like ours?
I don't know.
All those pods with these macaws,
With
just like
bald
their little feet-
macaws that have been shaved, and they have
their little feet just sticking
Yep.
out.
Oh.
I mean, it sounds really sad too. Very sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the end,
Serious.
In the end, I think any explanation for the Matrix that relies on the machines needing humans specifically for some practical purpose is going to have flaws. So what if they don't need humans and they aren't being practical? My theory is that after the machines won the war, there were two main factions with different opinions on what to do with surviving humans. One wanted to go all the way and kill them all to prevent them from ever becoming a threat to the machines again, while the other, although fine with decimating the human population via biological warfare, had enough lingering empathy for their creators to not want to exterminate them entirely. The same way a farmer might be in favor of culling wolf populations to protect their livestock, but not want wolves as a species to go extinct. The Matrix was the compromise reached by these two factions, a sort of wildlife preserve for humanity where they could live out long, relatively pleasant lives while never having any power in the real world that they could use to become a threat. Although the Matrix operates at a loss, so to speak, the ever-efficient machines do in fact harvest energy from their captive humans in the form of waste heat and recycle it back into their power grid. It's just less energy than they put into the Matrix in the first place. At some point, freed humans discover whatever infrastructure the machines use to do this without learning of the greater context, which is why they mistakenly believe the Matrix is a power plant.
Okay, I will go ahead and start off by saying I've seen this movie one time, and I saw it in college as part of a film survey of modern film class.
Okay.
And I do not remember very much. And so I will be using that as my place of reference whenever I talk about this movie.
Okay. So with that point of reference, what are your initial thoughts on this?
With that point of reference, and no, not having seen any sequels or
You didn't see any sequels at all?
no sequels at all.
Wow.
Okay.
We need to watch through these movies.
Wow.
And maybe there's a reason why I didn't watch anymore. Probably because I didn't want to. But I think it's very hilarious that they are making this alternative suggestion of using parrots instead of humans. And, you know, but if I'm just looking at this surface level without doing much critique, there's nothing that stands out as this is out there, dude. I mean, okay, why not? Why can't the Matrix be a farm instead
The
of a
whole
power
freaking
plant?
thing is out there. Let's just say that.
So sure, I mean, my initial thing before reading comments, even though I've actually technically read them at this point, I'll just say right now, I'm leaving the door open to believe.
Okay.
Because the truth is out there. But that's not this movie.
Wrong franchise.
He says, I know you're out there. I know you're out there. At the end of the movie before Neo rockets
Right before he
off or
does his
whatever.
Superman thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
The only reason why I know that is because I helped the guy make a promo movie for his really dumb book, and he kept referencing that scene, and I didn't know what he was talking about because this was before I saw the movie.
Cool.
Oh no, that's because he said, you know, like in the Matrix when Neo says, or whoever it is says, I know you're out there, and then rockets off. Well, I know you're out there. This is YouTube. It's like, this has nothing to do with your book, sir.
Oh, wow.
So funny. Oh,
Interesting. So, Laura, what are your thoughts on this based off of the theory?
Well, of course, when I think about the fact that they are taking a little bit of power off the humans, I immediately started thinking about our first Freaky Friday of Mary Poppins and Pennywise were collecting energy similar to the Monsters, Inc.
Yes.
universe idea that you get more energy from happiness than from fear.
So you're saying these machines are descendants of the species Mary Poppins / It?
Maybe Mary Poppins or Pennywise, or if they are the same entity, were able to upload their consciousness into a computer, like Zola
Westworld?
in
Oh.
MC in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's how it all began. The machine uprising. No,
I need to ask a question real quick because I don't know what the stated purpose or portrayed purpose of the Matrix is. So after seeing the first movie, when it's over, what do we as the audience realize about the Matrix? What's happening?
Just after the first movie?
Yeah.
I was going to say that there are humans who have been able to bust out and escape from it,
By eating
and
a
they
pill.
are, just awakening their consciousness because they've been trapped in their subconscious.
Okay.
Much like whenever you talk in your sleep, Spencer, that all comes from your subconscious. You have no idea that you're doing it until I tell you about it in the next morning. However, your body is fully functioning. I think it's the same kind of concept with in the Matrix. They're tapping into your subconscious, and so you think that this is all real and everything, but your body's not actually participating in any of these things. But then they're able to awaken from that, and now they're fully conscious, and that's starting to happen. Maybe that's an adaptation, but
No, it's natural
from our
selection.
last theory, no. So now there are some humans who have been breaking away, and Neo, it was prophesied he's the savior. He is the one, Neo, to free all of the humans.
From Red Skull.
Or Skynet.
Or
I don't
V
know.
for Vendetta. Okay, so, but we're to believe that eventually that for some reason, some way, the machines are harvesting humans for the purpose of powering things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what we're led to believe at the end of the first one, yeah.
Okay. All right, continue.
I don't know what else to continue with on this.
The comments.
Yeah, let me read some of the comments and then I'll share kind of my thoughts on this whole thing. First comment comes from user CyberClawX. They say, the architect seems truthful even if he obviously keeps things to himself. Machines are dependent on humans. When confronted with the survival of machines, if humans go extinct, the architect mentions there are lower levels of survival they can find acceptable. So what's special about humans? He says it. Hope. Our greatest strength and greatest weakness. What lets us dream and imagine a best outcome is also what stops us from being efficient and calculating. So they use us to run simulations of any problem, and with enough humans, they are bound to get a dozen good solutions. We might not be their CPU, we might be their human learning algorithm.
So is hope Superman's greatest strength and weakness?
I knew there was going to be a Superman reference.
No, you did
whenever I read
not.
that.
Stop that.
Yes, I did.
Well, I
'cause
mean, we
thought
already
the
talked
same
about
thing.
Superman once, about him launching off at the end of the first movie like Superman.
Yeah. All right, so next one's from Falset. Sure. They say, sadly, the newest Matrix movie pretty much throws this theory out the window. The machines flat out state that humans are used for energy generation, as humans seem to generate energy through aggravated emotional states. The machines even have a civil war due to dwindling energy resources as more and more humans are leaving the Matrix.
Laura can attest to this. Don't I generate more energy when I'm aggravated in an aggravated emotional state?
Yes.
In response to that, user, in quotes, dirty name.
That's my PCing or
This is his censoring of the dirty name.
Mm-hmm.
I see now. Anyway, that person says, I'm not even going to begin on how that completely violates the laws of thermodynamics. But one thing is interesting. The fact that the machines had a civil war. If I remember correctly, didn't every single machine possess the same mind? One collective consciousness? Yeah. So
Hive mind?
This is one of those franchises where things kind of change from movie to movie.
Well, even by the newest one, we were down to, because it was a pair of siblings who created the whole thing. By the last movie, one sibling was out. We only had one left on the creative team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the new one, Michael?
I did, unfortunately.
Oh.
Visually, it was gorgeous, but the story just, it ruined so many things for me about the franchise. They changed so many things, and I really wanted to like it because the cast was so good, and there were parts of it that I felt were really well done. It's just the overarching story kind of changed a little too much for me and almost negated. It was almost like a How I Met Your Mother situation. Like in the last season of How I Met Your Mother, there's up until that point, there's so much character progression and so much development in the story. And then in the last season, within the last few episodes, they just throw all of that out the door and change everything. And that's kind of what it felt like with this last movie.
So in that case, who is Keanu's mother? Laura's not laughing. She didn't think that was funny.
Mrs. Reeves.
Ah, that's right.
All right. So Corsair 1617 says, no, it directly tells you they use humans for power. Sure, macaws might have been a better choice, but they were all probably dead by then. Remember, humans and machines had been at war for decades before humans blocked out the sun. Only then did they start taking humans to harvest their bioelectricity. Which
Maybe that meant the robots blocked
point.
out the sun. Humans wouldn't have blocked out the sun, right?
Isn't it something to do with a war or in the robot uprising, some kind of really bad thing happened that there is such a cloud of dust and smog and everything in Earth's atmosphere that's what's blocking out the sun?
I think, if I remember correctly, now it's been a few years since I watched the original trilogy Matrix stuff, but I think that they did say that the humans intentionally blocked out the sun because that was one of the major power sources for the
solar
robots.
Oh,
Yeah.
because they were solar powering.
Yeah.
Since the humans would no longer give them like hydropower or wind power or gas, they had to, I don't know. Yeah, then they had to block out the sun, so they were trying to depower everything.
All right, so Captain Incredible says the Matrix is a retirement home for an old, out-of-touch species who have proven they are a danger to themselves and others. And the machines can learn things from the humans, so sometimes they go into the retirement home and hang out with them and interact. Maybe ask them questions about the way things used to be, etc.
That would be a much more entertaining, like you could make this into like a heartwarming comedy or something.
Yeah, I genuinely love that idea. Okay, last comment and then I'll share my thoughts. Bad Noodle 7 says the use of humans for parallel processing makes perfect sense. The structure of human brains coupled with the interaction of humans within society can be used to encode incredibly complex problems. The problems are solved by letting them play out in the matrix, encode problems into qubits, and let them work themselves out in the quantum ether. Yeah, they took it to a level that I surpassed my level of caring.
They might have been. They might as well have just typed that out in zeros and ones.
Exactly, and I think they were just flexing. Personally,
sure.
Okay, so
welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
That's Bad Noodles MO.
Yeah. All right, so I think the idea that they use them more in the wildlife preserve sense as opposed to actually for harvesting makes a little more sense, or would make a little more sense. But I'm pretty sure it blatantly states in the movies that the purpose is to use them for their bioelectricity and stuff like that. So yeah, overall, there are some good points. I'm not sure if I'm entirely convinced though.
Well, you can say all these things whenever you're rating it.
Well, it sounds like we're about ready to rate this theory, so let's go ahead and take a quick message break before we move on.
That sounds like something a machine would say.
How exactly would you know the things machines say?
Yeah, Spencer. You seem to have a pretty extensive knowledge of machine language.
I did
Look at him. It's like he's defragmenting or something.
Hey, how would you know what it looks like for a machine pretending to be a person go through a defragmenting process?
I
Wait, I think you both have some explaining to do.
There is a corner of Los Angeles where dreams are brought to life,
The stuff that dreams are made of.
where stars are born,
Rated by top of the world!
where legends are made.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
For over 100 years, the world has been captivated by Hollywood, But just beneath the stardust lie a million more fascinating stories. Tales of heroism, villainy, betrayal, passion, tragedy, and triumph that, when sewn together, form an incredible history. The Secret History of Hollywood, available now wherever you get podcasts.
Well, Michael, do you feel reassured now? Did our big expository explanation explain everything clearly?
Yes, thanks so much for all those details. I'm glad I was around to hear them.
And I'm glad I'm around to hear you explain our theory rating scale.
The highest rating that we have is genius. This is reserved for only the best theories, which we believe are better than the actual canon. The next step down is plausible. It's a good theory, it's believable. Unlikely is next. It's not a terrible theory, but pretty unlikely, as the name suggests. And then the last thing is preposterous. These are the theories that are just stupid. Basically, we're all dumber for having listened to them.
So I'll go ahead and rate this theory because it seems like OP is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like OP is only talking about the first movie, the first Matrix movie, correct?
That's what it felt like in the original theory. Some of the comments brought in the sequels, but I'm pretty sure the base theory was just the first movie.
Right. Okay. And because of that, I mean, in that movie, it really seemed like they were using the humans to power everything. And so that's why I think that, and plus I feel like my brain's kind of leaking out my ears right now from this theory. So I'm going to say that this was preposterous. I won't get that time back.
Ooh, can I go?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be as nice. This is completely preposterous. There's no reason for this theory whatsoever, and I mean that's usually the case with all fan theories. But like, what made this person feel like this was necessary to begin with? Like, why? Nobody else is questioning this. I mean, nobody else is like, wait a minute. What? Matrix isn't a farm. What? What? Like, nobody else in the comments thought that this was a good idea.
Yeah.
Then, especially because there's a couple of comments I didn't include that specifically referenced when in the movies or wherever it is that the machines or whoever says that no, these are for power. It's a power plant, basically, yeah. And it makes sense to me that humans would be a power plant rather than I still don't understand what purpose
wildlife
a wildlife preserve would serve. They don't
know.
Explain that.
I do not know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so basically,
I'm baffled.
The whole thing was like, the machines had empathy for the creators, so they put them on a farm or wildlife preserve so they don't go extinct. Like, just because they have compassion, the machines have compassion. So instead of killing them, they're just going to go send them out to the grandma's farm, like Old Yeller, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is preposterous. It's stupid.
Well, yeah, they really tried with this theory, but
It's a stretch.
This is not something that I ever would have thought about had I not come across this theory. And honestly, I don't care either way. I still enjoy the movies. So for me, this is preposterous. This is just dumb.
A triple preposterous. That way you know it actually is preposterous. And since you know, since it's been confirmed that this theory is preposterous, that means it's almost time to bring this episode to a close. But before we do, I want to share a fascinating TV series detail with you all. You know, I love it when an actor becomes the first to do something. And it's an exciting moment for the class of people that the actor represents. Which is why I couldn't pass up an opportunity to share this fact by Reddit user Justin the Platypus. LeVar Burton could not see through the iconic visor prop in that Star Trek show.
The Next Generation.
Yeah. This makes Burton the first blinded-sided man to play a sighted blind man. So funny. Oh my goodness. It's so funny. Think about it.
I'm so glad.
It's the first blinded sighted man to play a sighted blind man.
I get more entertainment out of your response to these facts than
Yes.
the actual facts.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is a lot of fun to watch.
It is. It's just a fun thing.
Very good. Well, on that note, this has been Fan Theory Queries. I'm Laura.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Spencer. Our next episode is releasing on a Friday in October, which means it's another entry in our Freaky Friday series. We'll share. Thanks. I didn't ask for that. We'll share
That wasn't
theory.
even scripted.
Exactly. That's why I'm stopping. And now it's starting. We'll share a theory that will forever change the way you ride the Haunted Mansion at Disney World, or Disneyland, or one of the other national variants in other countries. Subscribe to Fan Theory Queries so you don't miss out on that and other fascinating fan theories.
Fan Theory Queries is part of the Airwave Media Podcast Network. Visit airwavemedia.com to listen and subscribe to their other fine shows like The Secret History of Hollywood, Who Did What Now? And Into the Impossible.
There is a corner of Los Angeles where dreams are brought to life,
The stuff that dreams are made of.
where stars are born,
Rated bar! Top of the world!
where legends are made.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
For over 100 years, the world has been captivated by Hollywood. But just beneath the stardust lie a million more fascinating stories. Tales of heroism, villainy, betrayal, passion, tragedy, and triumph that, when sewn together, form an incredible history. The Secret History of Hollywood, available now wherever you get podcasts.